as we hit the start streaming button once more and head once more into the breach, my friends. As I refresh this, just to make sure that it actually is, and it is. I appear to be once more alive upon this internet. Let me double check everything's working. That all works. That all works. Great. Let's hop in. As yeah, I'm gonna do some thingies to the thingy. I'm gonna do some work on the build collection, as I've made a few decisions that I still need to execute. I'm going to go execute those decisions that have already been made.
Safe area detected.
So also briefly, actually, bring up that as well, just so I have it, just in case, or maybe later, which is Discord, which I haven't had on for the last few days, and way too many messages. Yeah, so where did the game go? The game went there.
Whatever you need, Agent. I've got
As yeah, gonna go do some heinous things to the build collection, which is that I've picked a few builds to be destroyed and a few builds to be moved over, opening up 2 spots by destroying 2 builds, basically. But also to do that, I'm gonna do some juggling with some builds. Because I feel, yeah, some builds belong on some characters, there's on others. Mostly to, yeah, have them in ways that make sense for myself, basically. So I'm not trying to remember what exactly the order. I had an order in my head as I was working earlier and looking at the build collection in the background. I was waiting for somebody to arrive. So this FI is going to go to a different character, character 2. And then their healing build is going to become an X build. As Cur first there takes, he is not just Cur first, he's Cur first. Actually, in my tonality, that's the same. Those are exact same words. As Earth and Earth, yeah. Can't make them sound differently. Yeah, welcome. Bright and early, I see there. As yeah, let me actually pull up the build collection and kind of mental this out, kind of. So yeah, this FI goes to character 2. Their healing build becomes an X build. That gets followed up by, from character 2, the Umbra build is going to move to character 3. And that's going to overwrite this tip of the spear build, which I just never use anymore, so might as well just toss that one. The Umbra is at least interesting playstyle wise. So yeah, this build goes away. It becomes an X build. Because yeah, so if I wanted to remake this is an easy build to remake. And then I'm forgetting a step. Yes, the future initiative half healer comes back to this slot from character 4, opening up a slot on character 2 and character 4 in the end. Does have some ideas tied to them that I might do. Let me briefly make sure that all of this is working. And what happens if I press this button? Okay, the build collection does show up. That's important for in a second. Because yeah, I'm gonna start doing that thing. First, I'm gonna clear out this build, basically. Not this build. This build. I need to find a good spot to put this backpack, or just have it be in her inventory. One of the two. Because yeah, that, or just save it instead of the safeguard. Is this free talentable? Neither is free talentable, which is annoying. Because if one of them was free talentable, I would just retalent them whenever I want to have safeguard. But also, quite often, I do want safeguard. So yeah, I want to have both options. That's kind of why this build kind of survived as long as it did. But I could slot it into here, I was thinking. Because yeah, the memento just overwrites it. Which is what I'll think. Actually, for now, I'll just keep it in her inventory. It'll just be an empty item that gets to stay around. These are only LMGs, I feel, as well. She has a blue screen, and that makes sense because she has OD builds. The blue screen kind of works with OD. But also, I never use it in OD. Could toss that as well. But she's on 126, like she's not on very high items. Yeah, these two items can go into the stash. They get to survive. As the build coming over is going to be an Umbra. Likely it won't come over with ARs attached to it. But she has some ARs, so that'll be fine. I'll just, you know, put a FAMAS in there or something and call it a day. She also has this rifle, so that'll be fine. So yeah, let's clean up this build, prepare it to be destroyed. So what I really want is to get the mods out, of course. Prep it for deconstruction. That one stays, of course. So it's actually just one mod. I love this one. And usually the way I do it is just one at a time. Because in this case, of course, I got to put everything in the stash of the Umbra and stuff, bring that over, right at the same time, put the FI stuff in and port those over. I'm just going to do it one build at a time, just so I don't confuse myself. And let's have a look. So just making sure. So yeah, it's these 4 items. The rest can stay. I'll orphan them basically later. Because yeah, I'll bring the Umbra over from the other character. Yeah, I need to check as well. She has a Cheska mask, right? Yes, she has this Cheska mask that could fill the role that is required. Though likely it would have a group of mask, I feel, with Umbra. But I likely have one. Yeah, that's good to go. So that was this build. Read up, basically. Gonna go put the Umbra pieces in the stash and then move them over. As yeah, sometimes it's a juggling act to get some of the builds to move around. As I have some attachment to some of the characters having certain roles, basically. So, even if they don't really anymore nowadays, but still kind of hold to that. So yeah, on this character, and I'll do that as well actually now, is that this build will get destroyed, which is like the high-end healer. This will become an X build, definitely. I'll save the build picture. But I just don't ever use this thing. Like, it's more of a test bed kind of build for skill haste repair skill. But it just doesn't see use ever. Because I would never pick this over the FI. There's no place where this level of healing is required. So yeah, the FI is going to come over to this character, because yeah, this guy is more of a healer for me. So he needs to have then the FI. There's also, yeah, then each of the characters still has a healing build. Two of them have a combat medic, one of them has the FI, and one of them has a third drone hybrid, or a third drone, or a half healer. And I feel actually I'm going to deconstruct all of these repair skill mods as well. I have like 3 on each character already, I feel. I might hang on to 2 of them or something. First up, let's load up this build and just destroy it, and then I'll send the Umbra over to the other character. Because this weapon is free talentable, so this weapon will likely survive. In some fashion. Because yeah, it is a honey badger. It is optimized. It's okay. Hang on to this. Yeah, let's get cracking. I'll keep 2 mods, I feel. I'm not gonna keep all of the mods because, and this one as well has been picked because it's an easy build for me to remake. If I really went like, oh, I missed this build that I haven't used in forever, then I could always just go and remake it because it's a pretty easy build. The only expensive part would be the improvised pieces, but even those, like, I would just spend it. Because yeah, I feel that these 2 pieces will just get deconstructed, mod and all. Because I don't need that many repair skill mods. I don't have that many repair builds. The honey badger is pretty okay. Its only downside is that it has basically 10 crit chance availability. But if you're using your weapon already in a way where you're doing 2 crit chance and a crit damage mod, which a lot of people do for high-end reds, then the honey badger is actually better than, for instance, if you're using the carbine 7 with 2 crit chance mods, 1 crit damage mod, then actually the honey badger is actually better. But of course, most people are using a carbine 7 with 3 crit chance mods, and then it's not better. The BTSU, of course, stays. That stays with the other build as well. I go in here. All of these are grayed out, meaning they're marked for deconstruction. I'm going to deconstruct them. Off they go. And this build has some items missing. And yeah, I'm going to send over the Umbra from this character. And I feel the Umbra, because it shares this group of mask, so I will not be sending that group of mask over, of course, then. This Jessica backpack is also not free talentable. But I should have a group of backpack or a group of mask in my here. I do, so that character can just grab this one. Weapon-wise, it had a carbine. I feel. Let me equip this build. I want to see if the weapons get used anywhere else. So that carbine I would be okay pushing over to here or something to putting it. Actually, that's enough. Because it's storing 2 weapons, but that other character basically has the same weapons as well, so that's fine. So just these 4 Umbra pieces go over, basically. Yeah, this is one of the handy things of the way I do it with mods and stuff already being tied. Oh, actually, this friendless backpack works as well. But yeah, everything having their own mods means that I can do stuff like this where I just move them across. Just go with their mods and all. Because yeah, these 2 weapons stay, and then I likely will have to get a Daisha, but I don't care enough about weapon specificity. Because I won't give them new build pictures. I'll just move the build pictures. I'll just basically rename them to the other number. So yeah, that's all of the pieces. So let's move on over. But yeah, weapons and stuff is very much tied to their own each of the characters basically. So. Oh no, hey there, Parmic. And yeah, indeed, we did run into each other. It's a small world, a small DC. Yeah. I don't know if that came across. I read it afterwards. I was like, wait, that might not have come across, but yeah, I was trying to make like it's a small world kind of thing.
Entering safe area.
Then the carbine. The carbine has a bunch of good looking skins nowadays. And also, yeah, some weapons don't have any, and the carbine has 3. The TKB also has like 4, even I think maybe. So yeah, they should like try to spread it out better. So yeah, these Umbra pieces go to this character. Just making sure I'm grabbing the right Umbra pieces. There was this Fenris Backpack Vigilance. This one's free talentable as well. That's nice. And then yeah, let's remake the build here basically. So yeah, this is with this Fenris backpack. And then she needs to have a group of mask. This one. Annoyingly, I don't have any half crit damage mods anymore. I actually hadn't noticed that the Umbra chest is like basically almost nothing. Although actually, yeah, from there as well is it is like that. Just checking if she has 11.9 already. She does. Yeah. This group of mask. And of course, in a second it'll be moved around to be the same color and stuff. I'll put 11.9 in there for now. And double check what the colors on these are. I mean, yeah, that's the right color choice, which is Umbra or Umbra. See where that exactly is actually. So it's here. Gonna record that. Also, actually, yeah, let me open up the build collection. Actually, I'll bring it up already. 2 points. Yeah, that's one. Because yeah, I want to have the same specialization and stuff, and yeah, gunner especially makes sense. Also with this, actually, I'm gonna give it the other skin because yeah, I have multiple skins, of course, for the minigun. Because that blue one ties up well with this one. I'm gonna record this, and then I just have to give it the weapon selection because yeah, or the mask. And then eventually I will have to find a group of mask once more with crit chance, crit damage, but that's a easy farm basically. So it used to be with a carbine. She doesn't have a carbine, which makes sense. She's not an AR character really, but she does have a FAMAS. I'll just put in the FAMAS and this classic M1A boomerang, because I don't need it to be exact same weapons and stuff. If I ever rework this build, then it'll get saved with that basically. I'm gonna overwrite this already. one thing I briefly want to check is where that FAMAS, of course, this is her main build FAMAS, and this is this one. That's actually kind of good, bringing her number of weapons down a little bit. Yes, yeah, so tanky build, tanky build, tanky build, tech tank, Hunter's Fury, Redify, and then Umbra, which kind of makes sense. And then yeah, Hotshot. Because I usually try to go kind of like that. Like the tanky builds are at the end, or like super tanks to back to like tech tanks, and then like half tankies, the Hunter's Fury. And then in the mid is like the either the high damage dealers or like supporty builds. And then skill builds all together a little bit more like after the high-end rats here. Which is like just my thing of how I do it. This seems set basically as is. One thing I would want for this, because yeah, she could have a carbine 7 and stuff actually, but I don't have a spare carbine 7, I feel. No, I do have that one, but I try to keep one of every AR. And I tossed a few ARs actually yesterday. Because yeah, my stash is down to lower than it usually is at 146 there. So I'll bring this up here for a second. So you're supposed to use Umbra. So you guys. Yeah, the ACS always bugs out and you just see the shells there. But Umbra basically, gameplay-wise, has one set mechanic where you go into cover, you stay in cover for up to 5 seconds, or already start firing. You don't have to be just sitting in cover. But then once you've basically charged it up, basically, as you're charging up your laser, you then pull out of cover, and then you have the damage bonus active for quite a while. And yeah, so it's basically a loop of going into cover, shooting a little bit, and then pulling out, having your buff up, and then doing good damage, using that till your buff goes a bit down, and then getting back into cover, and stuff like that. I might actually play it a little bit later on, seeing as it's a build that's getting moved around. As actually to bring this up, so what is basically going to happen to it as well. And that's kind of the nice thing about the system that I use there, with their names just being tied to it and stuff. The link of it isn't even going to change, but what I can literally change is this is going to become now 3.09. 3.09. Enter, and then that already will move it around on the, because yeah, it's the build collection is just sorted by number or by alphabet basically. So that will have put it here, and this one of course is the old 3.09, and this one I'm gonna rename to X. I feel I'm 22 X22, and then I'll put here old 3.09, because yeah, that's just for myself to like keep track of stuff. Let me scroll all the way down and make sure. Oh no, it was 23 X23. Because yeah, that way as well, even if people have like used that link somewhere, or it's in a Discord somewhere, that doesn't break the links for them. Because yeah, the link is still going to this, it's just been renamed and has been moved around. I'll double check here. But yeah, in a second then we'll have basically 2 holes. I'll already actually fill up that hole with a black picture, because that one is at 2.13, which is this is my base picture that I make a copy of and then start filling in. But this is then 2.13 already. 2.13. There's now another black hole in there. What I'll already do as well, actually, Where's the other one? This one. This will move over to being then 24. X dot 24. Old 2.04. Yeah, basically this one is coming over. It's becoming 2.04. There we go. As I said, the two builds that are basically getting removed, that Tip of the Red and that high-end healer, now all the way at the bottom as being X builds. And yeah, the other stuff has been moved on. So this ongoing one, so those two LMGs are likely orphaned now, I feel. Likely they're not getting used in the other builds. But I'm also okay with that. She usually actually doesn't have LMGs. Like, she's very much my SMG character. And these two can go back in the stash, and I'll decide at some point what I want to do with them. So yeah, now we have this build. This is getting moved over to that other character to overwrite that healing build. And yeah, so these pieces go into the stash as is with mods and all. The BTSU isn't going to go in because that other character has his own BTSU. Neither the lefty, the Scorpio, or this pistol will go in as well. Although actually, this is just yeah, this is just a future perfect one. He should have a future perfect one, so I feel that should be fine. He should have a lefty as well, so. Gonna move on over to that one. And basically remake this build over there. So yeah, this is this thing is basically done. Wait, is it something that could work on power? I don't understand that last one, but although I'm also guessing like I'm missing a joke or something. Most likely.
External defibrillators have been deployed.
Yeah, so
Safe area
outcome
detected.
these parts. That one. That one. This one. So I got pushed around. No BDSU. But this Elf's backpack. And yeah, so what I'm actually going to do is load this. Because that'll load the specialization and stuff. This becomes the other way around with a Scorpio. Oh, Scorpio. This Scorpio. And yeah, I usually have the Scorpio in slot too. Actually, he already had a future perfect pistol already. So Alps backpack and 4-piece FI. And this basically is as is now. Yep. That should orphan that. So I want to see where with him that lefty was saved normally. Is that these two weapons as well will kind of be orphaned now. But that's fine. I can deal with those two being orphans. I'll move them around too, like stuff like this. Like he doesn't need SMG or Virginia. Where was the lefty used? Or did he just have a lefty in his inventory? And or actually, this was with that. The lefty was in here actually. So yeah, that's correct. I get that now. This was with the lefty and this carbine. So yeah, this carbine is now also orphaned. So this will go into the stash. And this actually all looks okay. It should already also be colored all the way and stuff, so that's fine. And yeah, so this is 2.04. So 2 builds moved already. Making sure that it's saved correctly. And yeah, this all basically opened up this slot. And I do have an idea what I want to put in here, but I'll work on that in like the coming weeks. No hurry with that one, because my idea is to have an Umbra tech tank as well. So that will likely take up this spot. Although maybe even for now I might save the hard True Patriot tech tank that I have already on this character already as well. In that spot, just to have it a little bit easier to load. But yeah, at the very least, I'll have some slots available to play with, which I hadn't had for a while. So this character is basically done. Gonna load up the negotiator tech tank and then just leave them here. So actually, while I'm here, because yeah, yesterday had some questions about what number this ends up on, and 181 actually is the answer. Because yeah, he's all set. Yeah. And the other build that gets moved now is oh wait, what? See, whole war zone of text there. Wait, I just come back. Like when we do something too fast. And yep, Palmek in his soul is an Umbra. It sits down for a little bit, charges us up, and then runs away. Runs around. And now I'm going to move one more build, which is this of the build collection of idea, which is 4.04 to become 3.04, which is that half healer that actually got like moved around like 2 days ago. Well, it didn't get moved around actually, but like I deconstructed the one on the other character. But I'm moving that one over because that'll fill up that character, and then also still each character will have a healing E build, a build that can kind of heal. And then that 4.04 slot will become actually, let me check. So wait, is it okay? So this moves over to in a second to 3.04. Yeah. Let me open it as well. So this will go over to 3.04. I'm leaving a hole here in 4.04.
Crisis management, aren't we?
And then yeah, let me already make a black hole at 4.04. And yeah, at 4.04 I want to do the hazard protected eclipse. And the other two holes are already kind of filled in with, so this 413 and this 312 are the ongoing directive tech tank and the future tech tank. But yeah, so let's move these pieces over. Sniper rifle needs to go over. This lefty can stay with her, and then these 4 or 5 pieces will go as well. But yeah, she will no longer need a in-sync sniper rifle. And yes, there's always some juggling of builds. Okay, so that's on the stash, that's in the stash. That she'll have her own lefty, she'll have this pistol. Yeah. What's the specialization? Tech. That makes sense. Tech makes sense for it because then you have also access to the artificer. I'll bring this back up. The talents for ARs. If I want damage, which ones are good?
Automated external.
Kind of depends on the build and stuff as well. You usually can't go wrong with, well, my preferred one is fast hands. It is a roundabout way of extra damage, but just pure damage, flatline is good, strained is good. In builds with a few blue cores, optimist is good. In sync can be good, but yeah, you require to trigger it basically. That's about that's about it. And most of the other talents are a little bit more situational. Does she not have? No, right? Sniper rifle in sync SVD. This was freaked out for okay. And then this mask, this chest, this holster. This backpack. And these knee pads. I will have to remake the skills for it. So she needs to be technician. Then she will have a drone in the other one. Went off of cooldown just as I was about to give up. Health, especially I did have damage in there. Actually, duration for her. And yeah, I should move some of these mods around and see if any of my other characters needs them. Let's put the spots, the stuff in the right spot. Usually I forget at least one thing with these when moving them around. I'll like have forgotten a skill or something that like could apply. I feel actually, but with the Umbra I didn't look at the skills at all, but also it's not a like skill-based one really. This will become like this, and let me actually pull this one up. So this is 3.04 now. Okay, yeah, exactly. So it's the lefty secondary and then that in-sync rifle. Make a save. This looks correct with that pieces and then that and then Scorpio at the ready. Let me actually as well double check the Umbra. Which is here. See what the build picture says. Pulse is fine for this. So I'll make the game big for a second. As yeah, one thing I still also need to do is rename the slots, which is now rename 9 gun UI red. And she's down quite a few pieces, which is nice. She's down to 127 now. Because yeah, basically lost 2 LMGs there, which is nice. Because you never use them anyway. And then this will become rename for tech half healer. Double check actually that she should actually have on technician sniper rifles as one of her picks, which she does. She actually doesn't have the the pulsing laser because she doesn't have the rifles. But yeah, that's correct basically because she has 2 builds which are based around technician and sniping. So that works out at least. Because yeah, she also has this headhunter like weird thing, which isn't a good idea, but it is kind of fun. So I am basically done with her, I feel. I'll leave her on an Eclipse and then bug out. Because she has those builds now. They've been renamed even in-game. And gonna briefly go over to character 2 and clean up that one slot. Let me catch up there.
Automated external defibrillators have been deployed by hostiles. Safe area entered.
Yeah, if you're already technician, indeed, as Palmic says, they're going flatline is a great choice. Fast hands is a great choice as well, and basically that list there. Oh yeah, actually, killer as well is especially solo killer is decent as well. In groups, it's still okay, but it's not as good.
It's hard to look people in the eye sometimes.
Because it's dependent on kills. But yeah, flatline is very much a very good talent. One that is the original overpowered one basically. It does cost you 5 crit chance though. Set there where you put on the linked laser pointer and then and of course doesn't work with Elmo and stuff. Because yeah, one of the choices as well is just to go Elmo. it's pretty easy. And hey there, Muddy and Spune. Is putting some finishing touches here on moving some builds around. Because I feel actually these 2 weapons are fine in the slot because I'll put them in actually, you know what? For now, I'll save the other one now. And I'll do that by loading up this, swapping this to carbine. This build is not going to survive, but for now, just to have it easier to load it, because I have that slot anyway. So let's make use of it, which is this this Red Patriot thing, or well, the True Patriot. But did I do this right? He of course also has a normal Red Patriot, so he has like both pieces in his inventory. But I feel I did that right. So yeah. 52-117. That looks about right. Although likely I just put an Elmo in it normally. But for now I'll save this just here, just having something to load here. But eventually likely the one that I want to try out is Umbra version of this, basically with kind of the same layout but then with chest, and then a Cheska mask, which actually I should have a Cheska mask, because I don't believe has a Cheska mask. I mean, he does, but not a normal one. But I have one in my inventory, so, or one in my stash, so that's not a hard thing. But yeah, for now at least this is saved here. And so I'm basically done with him as well, I feel. I am. Just making sure that the build collection is correct. Yeah, so 4.04. Let me have a look at this. I set up that healer. That all looks correct as well. So done with him as well. Yay. We'll move on over to character 4. Because for now, I think I'll just use to have this filled in basically. Because this needs to, that lefty needs to go somewhere. And that somewhere can be, oh, it doesn't even need to. It's in there. Okay, so that's fine. What I will do then is just for now is, yeah, so load up that one. But yeah, she of course has those Eclipse pieces. Go from that DZ annoyance build to a normal Eclipse. I'll just save this normal Eclipse for now here. And then yeah, eventually this will become hazard protected Eclipse will go in here, and she'll keep these pieces just in her inventory. But that all works out. That's nice. So she is clean up now as well. Let me just double check I didn't orphan any other weapons. She has a bunch of ARs. I could actually move this carbine over to the other character. Yeah, she I know I have that carbine. It's like the more lower RPM weapon, just when I want to conserve ammo, but also carbine isn't that. Not really, at least. Yeah, that all looks fine. So now I'm gonna go do the other thing, which is to go to character 1 and redo the explosive build. We have that all together. And with the help of Toasty, actually, yesterday, I believe. Finding the piece I was after, eventually. Let me catch up here.
Automated external defibrillators detected on hostiles.
Yeah, indeed, 54 crit chances is pretty okay for Coyote. And yeah, Orbit is decent for that. Or also even like I quite often actually just use card 45s with normal finisher, just because they're a bit better than the than the base weapon of the Orbit. As Toasty and Pomic are having a runoff, having a marathon there with me as the thing that is marathoning. So yeah, let's go to the range with this thing. Because I briefly want to check as well, because yeah, we have the on my alt account, of course, I have also an explosive build. 5.07. Okay, both of them look just about as good as the other one, so that's fine. I'm not giving up. Actually, I've just copied over the the numbers because yeah, they're the exact same build in effect. I likely double checked that the numbers did match, but they likely did. So yeah, this 1.05 will just get reworked, or well, is reworked already. Just needs the build picture, which I will give it now first, and then also give it some numbers as well. I won't make it an X build because yeah, the other one is basically the exact same thing. Just a lot of deletes. Just that. Actually, those skills can stay because they will be the same. That changes. That doesn't change. And then yeah, all of these damage numbers will likely change. So I'll delete them for now already, just so it's easier. So yeah, let's give this a build picture. There we go. And these skills, yeah, basically stay the same anyway. Weapon. Oh. Weapon talents. Yeah, they were the same still. So that delete was not needed, but yeah, moved over to perfect glass cannon. And brand list, which is book ended by Grupos. I might actually drop this. Oh. Like that. Corp is more than enough. Let's see. Just stats. As it's not a weapon-based build, it doesn't really need like the crit chance, crit damage, and stuff numbers, because those stats are basically, instead of stats, they're basically no. Basically, instead of going crit chance is this many percent, is it's crit chance no. No, thank you. No crit chance for me. Instead, I will blow up your face. What a mortar. You don't need to crit if everything is already doing like humongous damage. Place everything around. Have chat up for a second. So much. It's man, Toasty, you're very much uncontested in in that section as well with gifted sub, and I think Curvers will appreciate it as well. Yeah, thank you very much, man. That's, very much appreciated always. Yeah, we. That's what you're doing. You're just increasing the running army. As yeah, IKEA was indeed. I hadn't noticed yet. As I had chat down for a second just to be able to paste everything. I do. I really need a third monitor, but I'll get one eventually. Although actually, if I had a third monitor, I don't have any current desk space to put it, so that's also a little bit of an issue. So, but yeah, I could put it on some boxes or something. But yeah, thank you so much, man. Some skill damage contracts is encountered on this. As well, now you have the piece, so you have to make the build. That's how that goes. Once you have a piece of it, you have to then you must make it. That's kind of how half of my builds came together. Is just like, I have this piece. What could I do with it? And then I did a thing with it, and then it existed. But yeah, indeed, this contractors took way too long to get. Oh, I noticed a thingy that I forgot to do, which I'll go do now, which is that knee pad is not optimized, but it's also it's not too expensive, that one, so I'll just take that hit. I mean, it is expensive, but it has been budgeted for already. It's going to be 3 and a little bit optimization.
Nice.
Yeah, that's usually why I grab stats first before doing any of the shooting with it, because I have definitely never ever have I ever done all the damage numbers of a build and then noticed that a piece wasn't optimized. That has never happened to me. How dare you even suggest such a thing? That has totally happened to me. Yeah, let's line all of these up and shrink them all down. Actually, yeah. Let's pull these down. Pull these down. There we go. And all of these together. There we go. Yeah, eventually I do want to get a skill haste chest, but that one's like, yeah, doesn't really matter. Like one haste isn't going to make a difference here. Well, actually, yeah, all of these stat numbers are different now, so those need to change as well. As I said, the 3-piece Empress did add another 10 as well, of course. So the haste numbers especially are quite different. Yeah, let's get all of these numbers in. Let's start with the equipped stuff first. I've overwritten the cooldowns already once at some point. Yep. Mortar. It's a turret. Sticky. Cluster seekers. But yeah, you can basically move around with that. The mortar is the main skill, kind of like fire eclipse, and then you move around with that second skill to be what you need whenever you need it. So what does this build have? It has a backpack and it has InSync. Also, the backpack there is highlighted, so I saw that now. Gonna redo the main build picture. There we go. Seeing as it's a newer style build, might as well just, do it right. Yeah, let's get some numbers for this thing. Let's make this invulnerable elite, because I do want DTA numbers because we have DTA. As the yawning starts early this evening because I did not get much sleep. Let me catch up here as well before I move and do a bunch of stuff here. Run strikers or negotiators. And yeah, that's indeed. Yeah, negotiators is also a really good builder. Yeah, you need to play towards its mechanics, which isn't for everyone. It's but yeah, you can. Negotiator at full blast does beat a striker, even a chest strike. Not by much, but even that it can beat it should tell you a lot. So I need to, yeah, I'm just considering what I exactly need to do. So I need to fire once, and then in sync, and then the second shot. And what I'll actually do, I'll just turn on damage numbers here and take it from the chat. I usually try to screenshot it from like the in-game thing, but let's be lazy. Yeah, so let's actually maybe shoot like over here. Oh, shoot that over there. There we go. And then which is a 6.07. That was a 7.729. No. So that was 8.2 million. Let me have that other build up as well. Let's compare them. 5 point something. Selected still. 5.07. 8.2. 7.5. Actually, this is this number, of course. Why do I have two numbers there? Oh, armor damage and non-armor damage. Okay. Yeah, I can do that here as well. Let's actually do that here as well. And I can do that by shooting at this stuff. Let's scroll to the end, so I'm scrolling along. There we go. Right there, I got a 7.6. I miss a trigger. Let me see. Because maybe InSync was already gone. There we go. I think I missed my InSync there earlier on. And yeah, those are quite bigger numbers than the other one. Although, of course, this comes at the cost of going out and farming quite a lot. Because yeah, there's two really annoyingly hard pieces to get. So yeah, let's... Luckily, in the range nowadays, yeah, you have the haste buff. So you need to mortar first, get that backpack thing going. Nothing with armor there. That's annoying. I should fire this over there just to refresh. And so that's 4.33 on non-armor. Wait, what was the... That's weird. Because there, the non-DTA was more than the DTA. Did that happen? Yeah, we got... Yeah. I always forget that Seekers are super annoying to get numbers for because it really depends on if you get the center of it, basically. There we go. That's a little bit more clear. Because let me make sure. Because yeah, that can't be the mortar. Yeah, so it's those two numbers. There we go. As yeah, seekers have a radius, and depending on no, that's not what I wanted, but that's fine. And depending on how far from the center you hit, you get different numbers. Same with grenades. In fact, let me pull up this again once more. Might try it out for M4 carbine, play further back, and just try and change damage from here. Yeah, indeed, Negotiator gives up a bunch of single target damage for forage spread. But you can set it up, especially if you go Vigilance backpack instead of a Negotiator backpack. That actually kind of brings up its single target to be decent-ish enough. And then, yeah, you have the spread. But yeah, of course, Strikers is also, like, just such a powerhouse that, that like, it's hard to keep up with. Sticky, icky. So I need the mortar again to trigger my backpack talents. And then I can sticky that guy. And then I can shoot that and then boink. Nothing at armor, apparently. Let's try that again. Need this to be reset. Alright, let's refresh that. There we go. Oof, that's a lot. 9.4 million and 8.8. That's not very legible, the place I've put the chat there. Like that. There we go, that's much better. So if you compare those, actually, let me try again, because I have less there, which isn't what I was expecting, of course. Might have been that InSync had worn off at that point. Nope, those are the same numbers. Uh, 5.6, 5.685, 5.685. I'll leave that for now. Worst case, I'll revisit it at some point. And oh wait, this was clusters. I guess over there. So what's the old number? 5.7. Oh. All right, the clusters have gone up by a lot. And Stinger Hive. That one luckily provides its own. Two numbers there next to each other, which is nice. 2 million a hit on the Stinger, that's nice. Because it has quite a bit more than the old version, which had like 2.03, and this one is even on the non-armor one, or on the armor is 2.23. 200k more per shot. Or per hit, per Stinger. I am fine with how that looks now. So have that. We have that done. Because I'll bring up Twitch once more. I have those other holes in the build collection now. Of course, I have 4 of them basically now. But I'm okay keeping those as is for now. I want to mess around with the ongoing and the future perfect, or future initiative tech tank a little bit more. And yeah, I need to farm the other two, so those will follow in the future. So catch up here for a second. For me, high-end glassware, yeah, high-end glassware density works really well indeed. And, is there any... Yeah, and especially Hunter's Fury, Regulus build, I said they're pretty strong Headhunter builds. I mean, usually they still need to two-shot a heavy. The first shot's going to take the helmet off. You can't work around that. You only play backpack, BP. I'm going to guess backpack there on Dilemma if I remember. Depends. You can go without backpack. Like there's basically gradations. Like it's like striker single target, and then negotiator with vigilance backpack. It's like in between, still spreading a little, but with a little bit more spread damage. And then negotiator with the backpack is all about the spread damage basically at that point. But you can go with or without on negotiator. Negotiator isn't completely tied to its backpack. Yeah, let me turn off damage numbers here, as we're also an hour or so in, which is about the time and that I want to spend at most working on a collection on a stream. So, oh, actually, Umbra is on his own. I see there. As I'm having a look as what is... Oh, we do have a nice Providence zone available to us as well. And yeah, nothing spectacular over here. But yeah, what I'll do here is reset my control points, and yeah, this Providence zone does look very appealing, as I'm in the market for a crit chance, crit damage, recorable sacrifice, very much still for the negotiator third drone hybrid. So if also anybody is interested in joining me for those, for some 3 directives, open world farming, if you have me on the list, feel free to join on me, as I'll take this character in. I want to give this explosive build that I just put together a little bit of a run for a little bit. It's not really synergistic with this global event, but we'll make it work. I just want to run it for a little bit. That's it. Then afterwards, I'll swap off of it.
Another agent is now in your group.
Build up very quickly. Briefly want to check as well what my stars are up to. 152 already, so it's going pretty fast for 3 days. I feel that the global event is on. And yeah, let's go hit this CP, as also a lot of convoys are moving around, and one is coming for it as well over there. We can head from the safe house, especially in that turn player. Yeah, that would be. Well, I mean, you have that one like apparel thing for demolitionist, which kind of does it. Although of course it's just apparel. You don't actually receive any bonuses. Well, you can take 1 explosive to the face. That's
Hostile control point identified.
Over here. So one of the things is mortar builds are actually pretty powerful. Let's actually hit that convoy without the CP. Let's just go take them out.
Civilians in
So we
distress.
can we can take them over here and they'll spawn by that, by where, like, I'll actually put my hive over there. Because it will likely also aggro the CP once we actually get going. So I'll open up. Boink.
Advanced AEDs nearby.
And
Detecting additional hostile.
they are indeed spawning where I expected them to. Oh. One of the dangers with the mortar, kind of like with the Eclipse, of course, as well, is that it's very easy to kill yourself, just as much as the enemy. Because yeah, the amounts of times that I've shot a mortar at myself is it's too damn high. Now, one of the nice things as well with the demolitionist build is you get a ton of special ammo. The whole group does, because you get those pretty frequently because you're killing with explosives. As yeah, indeed, where Toasty's going is where I'm going as well, up there. To have Overwatch. So, quickly checking if there's anything down the other streets. It doesn't seem to be. So yeah, I'm ready when you guys are.
Danger.
Should have put my hive more deeper in. Yes, I'm trying to trigger some in-syncs along the way. But I'll go do that actually. I'll go put my hive in them. And also put my mortar closer. One of the things to do with the mortar is, yeah, try to have it like the shorter its range that it's firing, the easier it is actually to aim the thing.
Civilians in distress.
Or well, like less travel time is like easier to like hit targets with. They won't get out as easily.
Heavily armored hostile detected.
Yeah, the reason you need some haste is, yeah, once you use all your charges so that you get it back decently quickly. There we go.
Control point secured. Well done.
Civilians in danger.
So one of the things is, yeah, that indeed the mortar is pretty strong. The only real downside of it is that it has a screen shake, which a lot of people dislike, so it doesn't get ran as often. I'm gonna go put my mortar up on top. She won't be able to shoot both sides. And yeah, whenever you guys are ready, I'll put my hive over there. I shall. Follow them in.
Reinforcements incoming. Detecting additional hostile contacts.
Yeah, just indirect fire on its own can also just be very strong sometimes, because yeah, you have those, like, for instance, in Legendary, you have those healing boxes and stuff, and they might go down somewhere where you can't really reach with a gun, but you're basically never out of reach for the mortar. Respawning from the same spot, or no, other side. As for instance, a shot like that, you get, like, hit a bunch of people. These are satisfying whenever you get them. Should have just put my hive actually, like, in that doorway instead of where okay. I might go do that. Also, one of the things is, and that is important to know, because even though I do use the Stinger a lot, the Stinger does not scale off of explosive damage. So all of that explosive damage that I have on this build, from the brand bonuses, from Grupo and stuff, the Stinger isn't scaling off of that. But to me, it's still such a strong skill that I'm willing to, like, just run it just with the skill damage of the build, basically. But yeah, the Seekers and stuff do scale with it. The
Rogue agent detected.
Oh, that's okay. They'll likely
Access unlocked.
they'll likely be by that food place nearby. Let's maybe go hit them before we go and take our loot, because yeah, if we go too far away, they'll despawn. Because yeah, they'll be at this food place over here. This like over there somewhere. And yeah, I'll stay this explosive build. There they are. You guys are ready? Yep.
Assault turret detected. Hostile assault turret detected. Rogue volunteer drone detected. Hostile volunteer drone.
There's a sniper turret near one of the cars near me. If anybody has a shot on it.
Hostile sniper turret detected.
I can kill it.
An agent needs assistance.
I think my allies discovered that same issue.
Hostile Mender Seeker mine
I'll
detected.
keep them busy, because also I can't really push out of here.
Vital signs critical. Agent down.
Actually, I'll do that. I'll release, and
Zero.
it should be close enough that if I go over here, that I still will get loot, even if something dies. That's it. I'll do the smart thing and grab that and come back in with something that can fight them.
Supply room access. Locked.
I was expecting a Scorpio there, but that's not a Scorpio. But it'll work.
Supply room access unlocked.
Is that the last? Oh, last one's over there. Pick this one back up. Yeah, seeing as that one didn't drop a named item, that wasn't the last one, so got one more to go.
Still breathing.
I've swapped to PFE for.
Rogue agent
Do
eliminated.
take care of him. Catch up on chat here as well. That, I keep back. Well, a negotiator doesn't need to be with the backpack per se. Like, yeah, but it's because it's also not 40% more damage. It's 40% of 60%, making it, you know, a little bit more manageable to lose it. Because vigilance brings up the single point target damage quite a lot higher. Because the legendary setup for the longest of time was to go focus back, to go focus perfect focus chest, and to go vigilance Cheska backpack. Because especially for instance in legendary, the single point target is quite important. Yeah, basically both versions are very viable. I'm gonna swap to you. You know what, let me see if I'm a little bit more steady-handed today and try my hand at sniping a little. As I'll run aces for a little bit. That's it, that explosive build works, obviously. It's basically just a better version than the other one. Although slightly for a pretty high like farming cost. Although, of course, once you have it, it's just better, basically. Although most of its damages, especially as well, is towards armored enemies, is much higher, basically. And then, yeah, let's, afterwards, start moving towards that other CP. Because, yeah, there's an elite... convoy, but by the time we reach those, they'll be despawned. There's a gun. Well, not even for solo play, but just in general. Like, Negotiator without the backpack isn't that big of a loss. Kind of the same like with Strikers. With Strikers, actually, you can go without the backpack as well. It's just most people don't. Like the difference is within 2% of each other, and then you have basically 2% higher on the front end, which can be useful as well. For instance, actually for raid, I think there's a good case to be made for if you're using strikers in raid to go without the striker backpack. To go obliterate chest and then basically Cheska Grupo, a combination of chest and backpack. I'm good on that one, Muddy, but yeah, someone else is interested. Yeah. That Providence backpack.
Also, control point nearby.
It's hard to like make out where even the head is. Also, SVD isn't perfectly accurate on the first shot. It's like, there's a spotted target, but is there anything in front of it? And there actually turned out that there was. Hit walls and stuff. But yeah, stuff like that. There's some weird effects. Might not be the weather for it, but we'll try.
Heavily armored hostile detected.
medic jumps in the middle of everybody there.
Detected. Nearby location. Guarded by hostiles. An agent needs assistance.
That's not the backpack or the gun I was expecting to pull, which is usually a TDI card custom. But yeah, I think I pulled one of the orbits out of my stash for this. And yeah, let's go actually just spawn camp them. But I'll go glimpse and then. That's my skill was on cooldown. Oh, my drone is still on. 1 second. 'Cause I need to wait out that 18 seconds cooldown. Because I was not paying attention. There we go. Oh, there's also I actually need to load the loadout because I'll be sharpshooter still as well because that drone kept me as sharpshooter. No, not that thing. That one. Okay.
Hostiles guarding location nearby.
I'm gonna put my hive here already. And I'll call them in.
Reinforcements en route.
There's a flame grenade there as well. That's it. These guys are having a bad day.
Heavily armored hostile detected. Detected. Nearby location guarded by hostiles.
Now we have a long wait until the allies come back here. What is that? Bangor aka 612. Oh yeah, actually, yeah, this is the Bangor, right? The 612. Yeah, well, let me try my hand at regular sing a little bit. I haven't done it in a while. So I'm gonna assume that hey, strikers and a bestie.
Hostiles guarding location nearby. Supply room access unlocked.
Yeah, one of these like weeks I need to like run this Hunter's Fury just for an entire week. Just get better at like aiming headshots. Because I suck at it. Always have. Likely always will, but I could maybe suck a little bit less. Just a little bit. Yeah, let's start moving towards the next one. As I grab some humongous berries, which are very much genetically modified, most likely, to the size of my head, basically. There we go.
We do what we have to survive.
Annoyingly, my headhunter went into a helmet, which hyenas have a lot of with the rushers. Yeah, with this one, once everybody's ready, let's just call them in. Because,
Reinforcements incoming. Immediate medical assistance needed.
way too many elites here, of course. Also, use it. My aim sucks. Though, of course, like, I played some skill builds before this. I didn't even play shooting builds, so it takes a second for me to actually remember how shooting works. Also, how wobbly the heads are is always. Let's do the other thing that this build can do. It's just to use the shotgun. So much easier. I was trying to use the regulars just to get a little bit better at mid-range aiming, but
friendly combatants nearby.
It wasn't working out for me. I'll likely go down here. But I have a hive. And I wanted to make it to this side, just so I was across. They are coming from this side.
Friendly combatants detected. Heavily armored hostile detected.
Yeah. Regulusing always needs some warm-up. Also, I always hate this sway of it, like this left-right sway. It's just always makes me so like it forces me almost to over-aim. Yeah, I'd much rather basically have a sniper. Just there's these gun clips. Most likely to try to help me get some easier headshots, but still I wasn't performing to any standard. Damn, I should full up on ammo.
assistance nearby.
And yeah, let's head in and actually hit those two things maybe towards the other CP. Hostage rescue and the public execution. So, get some bounties out of it. Yeah. Spend some time hydrating. So what was that? How about some summit later? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I would. I'm not gonna stay on Headhunter much longer than this. I'll do a little bit of here and I'll try with the CP, but it's not for me. It's very much not for me. I completely understand how powerful it is, but I'd much rather be using something that is fully automatic and just lets me shoot at the speeds that I want to.
Medical assistance needed. Incoming hostile.
Especially as well in the summit, like tech tanks are quite my favorite. So one of the annoying things as well, actually, with the Regulus is that it's actually not the best choice for here, like, because everything gets back up around that. Kind of works, but not like fully. Like a determined sniper is actually much more consistent.
I'm gonna move. There.
Oh, I was... Okay. That also didn't help. I was on the wrong DPI, which I don't notice usually until I'm on a weapons build. No, there I feel I would have noticed it earlier if I was just with the AR, but I wasn't. So. Also, wiggly heads. Always... Oh, that helps. That helps a bit. Being on the right DPI.
Target near you. Detecting additional hostile contacts.
Must have spawned south because otherwise we would have seen them. Can even see the enemy through all the effects. Yeah.
I think we're done here.
If there's anything I can do for you, just name it.
Yeah, let's give other allies a second to catch up. Gives me a second as well to refresh this, because the stream was actually frozen. Oh.
Immediate medical assistance needed.
Should have gone for the purple instead of the elite there. I just need to close the distance. This isn't the sniper rifle.
Heavily armored hostile detected.
Control point secured. Well done.
There we go. Everyone's ready. Let's poke him in.
Reinforcements en route. Hostile broadcast picked up. Incoming hostiles detected. Vital signs critical.
Target is near you, Agent.
Go, go. As guys are even dying to the oxy effect, basically.
Heavily armored hostile detected. Hostile broadcast detected. Supply room access.
The headhunter can be very effective. It's just,
Out there.
especially together with some foam, as was there, and some strikers, especially to like clean up the stuff that that I can't, basically. Also, I should basically close the range more. Just have my buff as well, and also the shield as well, which both are very strong. Several good Providence knee pads, but yeah, you never use Providence knee pads. Was that bounty so nice for headhunting? I'm gonna swap off of headhunter. It's I don't want to try hard right now, but I would be up for some bounties if everybody else is also interested in them. But then what I'll do is just go be a striker, go be the other meta. Jessica chest and this holster. As we still have the bounty from earlier, of course. So fix my poofy hair. As your dad said, sometimes moves forward and then does that.
Always wanted to kill one of these assholes.
That wasn't the skill I was expecting to pull out. But that also makes sense because yeah, I do actually want the Banshee instead of a shield on this one. Though not for open world usually. This is the one place where I would rather have a shield. As yeah, I'm 4 times armor broken, so I'll just take that. I don't think I'm even bugged. I'll check here. I'm not. Well, so yeah, I'll be armor breaking so much anyway.
That's the target, Agent.
My defense is my health gate.
Target down. Good job.
Go cover on this side. Oh, wow. Got the next wave here as well.
Target spotted, Sheriff. Got the target. Nice. That's the target.
Stuck in the door. Yeah. And let's go get this key chest. Headshot HP. No, but what do you mean with you mean health roll? Because you wouldn't want that. I was gonna guess. Oh, Hasbro.
Target neutralized.
I'll keep an eye out for a piece that can end up like that.
Cleaning up the streets one bad guy at a time. Nicely done, Sheriff.
Gee, if there was any loot over there, there wasn't. Brief look. Another bounty at the ready. But then also, if we're interested in maybe doing summits, let's maybe after this bounty head on over there.
Supply room access unlocked.
Things would be much
Because yeah, if we're doing likely then going to do, oh actually we can do this one, right? We're likely gonna do a project basically then. Yeah, that's basically the length till I that I will be online for.
Supply room access unlocked.
Yeah, same here, Thursday. I would need to swap characters as well. That was weird. But I'm gonna guess that was lag. I was shooting that guy, but then suddenly he warped and died. Oh, as I delta out.
Press space to start.
So briefly check
Press
as well.
escape to quit.
That kind of is in line as well with what was happening there. Keeping an eye out on the bit rate of the stream, checking if it's that or if it's just the game. It seems to be just the game, so it seems to be not per se on my end.
Target is nearby.
Automated external defibrillators have been deployed.
At least luckily it did keep me in group and stuff
Room access unlocked.
and where I was basically.
Experimental AEDs in proximity.
I have nothing else that solved my armor breaks that were stacking up.
Planted. Agent down.
It's a bit more exposed here than I thought it was. Because also, I usually never go downstairs. And now I reminded myself why I don't. That's because it's dangerous down there.
Target spotted, Sheriff.
Oh, it's not. Thought he meant in here. But no, it's the next one. Let's see, I'll go get special ammo upstairs. Letting me use that. Oh, I have some stuff downstairs there.
Immediate medical assistance needed. Agent out of action.
They caught me out. Turns out I can't actually crawl over that last step. But yeah, it's just the boss alive. Let's go kill him. Get a chameleon out of it. Which means I get an exotic component out of it. Which I don't mind. I'm curious to see in a second. Actually, I'll have a look now. How many exotic components I'm back up to? I'm on 29. So getting close to, well, halfway, over halfway. Because actually, I haven't done this week's getting both accounts together and sharing all of the exotics to this account yet, which I likely will do tomorrow after I do the league on the other account, basically. So I'll have a peek here as well. A blue thingy. What's it called? Sacrifice, which they don't fit well together, sadly. Blue stuff and sacrifices. Third item here. Yeah, I said actually let me see if I have anything in here that's worth sharing, maybe. Because yeah, from pickups I didn't really have anything good. But maybe those are all just so low. Yeah, let's take. I'm gonna take it over to the White House for this character because then also I'll swap characters because yeah, for if everybody is okay with it, let's maybe indeed go do some go do a summit basically. Because I never mind those, and we can have the. We will still have the global event on there.
Nice doing business with you.
So I'll pop these caches too. Because I need to swap characters before we go.
to be seeing you.
An agent has left your group.
So I'm gonna guess these doing the same. Oh, brief peek. Skill damage boxes. Yeah, those are handy for oxy builds.
Agent has joined your
As
group.
I'll do the same here actually briefly. As I'll swap over to be kind of thinking which tech tank I want to put some time on. 'Cause yeah, she has the future initiative, she has the ongoing. I think I'll go with the ongoing for this a little bit. Mess around with that one a little bit more. There's also on that other
Leaders detected on hostiles. Safe area entered.
on the other character I also have Heartbreaker tech tank, and I see myself very
Letters
quickly
have been deployed by hostiles.
swapping to that basically
Safe
if I were
area
to run that
detected.
one. Because I want to put some time on this thing for a little bit. As Omnisci asks if somebody needs Carbine 7, I'm good on those. Yeah. But maybe one of the others is interested still on one. Briefly check what my allies are. Bunch of strikers, which works out fine.
Inside the safe area. Violators will have their weapon confiscated.
Yeah, whenever everybody's ready, Muddy, you're currently a leader. You will have to pass travelers over.
You have been promoted to group leader.
That's also one way to solve it. That is to make me leader. I'll take us over. If somebody's not ready, they can decline. But also we have all the stations over there as well.
We need you to secure a skyscraper. This may take a while. Hope you cleared your schedule.
Indeed, their punk is. I'm not it. You're it. As it's drop down back to normal, which it quite often does when you swap characters. Back to heroic. I'll take it down to the normal for directives. Yes, can be annoying otherwise. Fragile armor breaks way too often, and cool skills isn't very useful for most people. As it seems Toasty needs a minute, which is fine. Well, as Muddy is in tap mode. As yeah, it's very much a common thing of on PC, because I don't believe you can do it on controller. You can kind of tap, but not to the speed that a keyboard provides. As I'll fix up the camera once more. in the meantime. Just so that, yeah, especially backwards is very like I always like that one very much. They're just poking away from me. So one thing I'm very proud of is my stash is at 149 or 249. So 149 would be very much very low, but 249 is the lowest it has been in quite some time. As hey there, Xander. OS. I've completely forgotten, of course, to actually as well get us a new date. Although this week I was super busy anyway, so I couldn't have. Just checking that I didn't miss a message of yours, at least. But okay, so yeah, at least I wasn't a dick. Yeah, if everybody's ready, it seems let's head in. As I'll catch up here. Hero continuity game was the best way to level up. Got through level 30 was just one. Yeah, if you're at endgame, which it sounds like you are, and you just want to level, one of the best ways is open world, just roaming the map, preferably on heroic with 5 directives. Although 2 do it on heroic and 5 directives, you usually need a decent build. But basically as high difficulty as possible with as many directives as you can fit in, basically, is the best way to level in the open world. Which will also, like, if you pick your zones well, where you go after zones where has loot that you're after and such, then you can benefit in both ways, basically. Hey, I'm ongoing. I need to actually, yeah, get ongoing bullets. Oh. There I got back up. Briefly need to check what my target is set to. This is likely still... Oh, it's set to strikers, of course, in this character. Going to go FI. Because I want to swap one of the tech tanks FI pieces around. So I'm after another glove. Which, after the last time that I was after a glove, hopefully it won't take as long. As funnily, I need the other one now, basically. As I still haven't gotten... Oh, everything dies way too quickly before I can actually swap weapon and mark them. Okay. Yeah, well, sorry to hear it, but yeah. But yeah, that then at least, like, I feel I was less of a dick of forgetting to reschedule us a little bit. But yeah, I've also been very busy with work this week. So yeah, likely this weekend I likely can't, and then Monday likely as well I can't. But maybe Tuesday or Wednesday if you are up for it. As you know, Wednesday I can't, but likely Tuesday or Thursday I could, actually. If you maybe already know your schedule a little bit. Or yeah, we could like, or feel free to like poke me and just go like, hey, bastard, did you forget about me? And I'll go like, oh shit, yeah, I did for a second, sorry. Because yeah, I do have that habit of forgetting stuff like that, of just like, it's a day later and I totally forget what I was meant to do. finally get special ammo, which only took like a floor, at least on my like main weapon. I had it on the Scorpio. It's a green gas when you shoot people. So currently there's a global event, which if you're interested in leveling fast, that is also one of the good ways of leveling fast, although limited, it's not repeatable, which is the league that is currently active. You can matchmake just for that and get stage 10s on basically speedruns. They're not hard to do, and they're on hard and challenging difficulties. So, but yeah, those are 1 times per week, basically when they are available, which is last week and this week was a league. So yeah, you can basically do those for a bunch of levels, like 7, 8, or 10 levels, pretty quickly. And you'll likely get carried by people, basically, because if you matchmake for them at least. And this green explosion thing is reanimated, which is in the season. You can turn it on. And actually, if you're interested in it, I have a video for you. I have the video for you, which is on my YouTube channel, which you can click the banner down below to go there, which basically explains what it is and also how to turn it on. Because, just turn it on in the season menu, and then you can benefit from well, the thing is, it's basically zombies, so if you don't kill the enemies with a headshot, they will get back up once, but if you do hit some headshots, the headshots do a bunch more damage and pop their heads as it does there, basically. But the thing as well is you will earn stars from it. And you can spend those stars on exotics and named item caches, which are quite valuable, getting you named items and exotics, which are always nice, of course. So especially, yeah, for newer players, it's well worth it. But yeah, it may take a few hours to get used to playing it. But yeah, once you kind of understand it, it's actually this one is a very beneficial global event. As it. So. Xander explained it there as well. But then, yeah, Xander, give me a poke if I forget, maybe like Monday or Sunday to like finalize it. So we have a sniper behind us. And also, if you kill them and they are still on the ground, you can actually headshot them like I did there to finish them off. Oh wait, this isn't the sniper versus shields fight. This is just a ton of snipers for no apparent reason. That was weird. Because that was a lot of snipers for just normal waves. And there's got the key. So yeah, we can just skip searching for other places with it. No loots over there, but the key could be there. But yeah, once we have the key, I'm gonna actually go up on the right side, and actually go up on the right side. Wait, what? Oh, I wasn't paying attention, so I just ran past it. Up to inside.
They're close now.
Try to clear around Toasty there, just so when he gets back up, but it's a little bit safe because yeah, bunch of stuff spawns all around here. That's also why I didn't push up way beyond where I was basically. Gal's gonna get up unless I do that to her. Oh, yeah, Toasty makes use of the commands that I always forget that exist. Even though I made them, but I still always forget that they exist. As also tomorrow, likely I'll take the time to just put every build basically as a link, so that you can just exclamation point the number of the build basically and just go directly to its build picture, which can be handy for me. This is when then. At least for now, when people ask what build I'm running, I can just say this number and then, or just like link directly to it. So I'll have a peek what this is. Oh, Sputters, Jessica. Yeah, I'm good on those, but if somebody else could be useful to someone. Yeah. Yeah, being carried is always nice and handy. But yeah, usually depends as well with
Rogue striker drone.
with people if they are kind of willing to do it,
Hostile striker
or
drone
for
detected.
long times. Quite often, people eventually will just toss you over.
Assault drones detected.
As we have the annoying one, which is the actual laptop one. I'll let my allies get that one. I'm not fully charged up, so this is a little bit dangerous what I'm doing, but I can at least get this. Likely I will go down because yeah, that's a lot of drones. And more have spawned behind me as well. And now. But even if I go down, as long as I don't die in this circle, as long as I basically hold, then once this circle is complete, then they all die. Yeah, the downside is I'm running an ongoing tech tank now, and ongoing directive, of course, is reliant a lot on its bleeding, and drones don't bleed. Not yet. We're working on it. I'm trying to.
Incoming.
I need to get my
Serious trauma detected.
ongoing going. Yeah. Luckily, we have no fragile on, so that armor break isn't the end of the world. A peek on this side as well, just for the key, maybe.
Server terminal detected.
Glory days. Well, at least now you can deconstruct any glory days you had. It's more, make more, basically. So I'll hit it now. Spawn from there. But yeah, it's a long list. So there's many bad ones. So eventually,
Terminal.
hopefully, we'll have all of them. So
They're coming right out here.
you'll have to get the bad ones eventually anyway. So. Yeah, I'm looking for buy gloves with crit damage, and who's willing to bet it's gonna take me 4 days again?
Rogue striker drone detected.
Funnily enough, of course, I went for crit chance gloves specifically with that one build, and now I'm reconsidering it because I have the option. Okay, yeah. Once we reach the chest here,
Hostage situation.
just remind me if I forget to test. Those two, you need to go to the lobby for a second. Likely to either grab something or recalibrate something or something like that. And also for the others as well, if you guys are like full up on inventory and just want to go and donate it for proficiency and stuff, just remind me. Like, take us to lobby once in a while. Because, yeah. I myself have those things done, so I always forget like that. Like, you know, that could be worthwhile for others to intermittently go downstairs for a second. We have the key once more. Okay, this is the one door, but even if you shoot it with a suppressor, it still aggroes the next room like 90% of the time. There's sometimes when it doesn't, but it's quite rare.
Take out the flanker.
Oof. Something hit me really hard. I'll take the long way around, play it safe. I will make sure that that thing dies. Now grab this back door. Usually a bunch of stuff spawns here, and it can be really annoying, but it's pretty much behind everyone. Yeah, finally charged up on my momentum. Nice. As yeah, frame rate there really didn't like the all those effects. So what I should do is actually check. Don't have any challenges available, which I really don't, so that's fine. So I've already done most of the easier ones. Wait, what was I full on? Okay, not that one. It's like, is that a resource? It looked like ceramics, but it wasn't. So I did remove the key from the radar and yeah. I'm still annoyed by there not being an indicator of if the group has gotten the key or not. Yes. I just, even myself, just forget that. Like, I might have picked it up, and then like 2 rooms later, I will have forgotten such things. That doesn't stay in my brain. Because especially as well, it's repeating sections of 3, so
Agent down.
it's one of those things that, like, did I pick up the key in this tree section, or was it the previous one.
Damn it!
Oh, let's suddenly see what the issue is over there. I'm gonna go help my allies a little bit. Although actually as well, like I couldn't have disengaged on that end anyway. I was kind of stuck in that fight anyway, so.
An agent needs assistance.
Yeah, that one's always. Although, of course, like most people know it by now, so they will usually not open the chest right away and let, if they have the commendation, let others open it basically. Because yeah, that one indeed is not shared. And yeah, once everybody has their loot, and I'm guessing by everybody moving towards the elevator that we are, then I'll take us to the lobby briefly. So yeah, we can get cleaned up and stuff, and then head into that boss floor. Let's briefly check as well if I don't have a boss thingy. There's a vendor up here as well. It's surprising how full up on resources I am lately, because yeah, I've been playing way too much. Actually, with how full I am, actually, let me make use of the crafting station. And see, actually, because I kind of need some of these, and I can get a lot of those, so let's get some. Just to burn some resources. I'll keep a few more of these. And yeah, I should get another skill for this account up to expertise 10 as well. It's that eats up the same kind of resources, kind of. Those I'm good on, those I'm good on. Then I might just do this. Yep. Can you craft those gloves? Oh, do you mean the FI gloves that I'm after? Not many. Actually, I likely won't be able to. The blueprint does come from Iron Horse if you run that, but they require Iron Horse materials, which like I don't have any left of. Because yeah, Foundry and Future both use those ironwork based materials, which they should just remove from it. Like that doesn't need to be there anymore. And same for Aces using Dark Hours negotiators as well, right? Yeah, negotiators also using Dark Hours material, so which I don't have a lot of. I haven't been raiding much. Yeah, those tactical assessments, you're better off if you're like farming for it to just go farm them. Much more than trying to craft them. Although, of course, you can do both, is the thing, when you craft them. Toasty seems to be ready, if everybody else is. Let's go kill a boss. I'm gonna rush in and attack very quickly because I'm about to lose my mementos otherwise. So, just if you guys are curious why I'm actually that aggressive, but
Immediate medical
well,
assistance
actually,
needed.
I might actually die for it, but if you're being on fire, the regen of the memento will out-regen that. That will usually end up fine.
High risk target detected.
I'm trying to see where the name spawned. But I can't, so I'll just... Oh, there he is. I'll just keep him busy. Toasty's in chameleon mode. The nice thing, especially with Outcast, they provide their own CC. And we're getting some global events. Challenges complete. Oh, we got the headshot one as well from headshot damage, which is actually usually the harder one of this global event. Is the that Outcast one? I remember that one always being annoying. Or there's one for getting corrosive kills, I believe. Actually, that might be a separate one than the Outcast one. Oh, that's thanks, money, but I only specifically need gloves. I have all the other pieces at the ready. It's just I need gloves with crit damage where. At least if that was aimed at me. I'm gonna assume it was. But yeah, that just lets me swap one of them mods over to be from crit damage to crit chance, which I have a lot more of. I have a lot more crit chance mods than I have crit damage mods. At least full ones, I should say. And, skill damage explosive. But yeah, if anybody else is interested in that mask for starting up a Redify or a Tech Tankify, then a good piece for it. And yeah, otherwise deconstruct it, I would say, or pick it up for for expertise or proficiency. There you go. Take some aloe vera drink. This is always nice and chunky. Let's go get set up here. We recently set up I mean, then at least you're you will have had a lot of resources, because that's kind of the downside. I noticed that a lot while I was donating myself, is that
System breach.
I would not have any resources at the ready, basically. But yeah, it is well worth it to just slowly work on expertise. Here we are, one of the only tips that I'll be making. Like, it's planned, but I'll get to it eventually. So I'm trying to push up into here. And so we'll go get the other one as well.
Critical systems exposed.
And luckily those servers bleed, which is a little bit weird, I feel. Curious to see what part of a server would bleed. As yeah, we have something in the next corridor as well, as I saw it light up, of course. So, cheap AK. So these in-between waves, whenever they are, they're all reds anyway, so they're never hard. And so here we have a heavy fight. And, of course, usually we would say let them fight, but also let's not. Let's just kill them. It takes way too long for them to kill each other. Just, taking the long way around, just checking for keys. Yeah, it turns out indeed, as always with those, as that is basically, of course, the test of what is the best heavy, and it turns out it was us all along.
Multiple hostiles inbound.
Yeah, this TKB is very much not a headshotting weapon, so while I am aiming high, I am not really making making it happen. Not unless I'm like in people's faces, which I can kind of be, of course. This is also a tech guy. And it's charged up now, so... No, it's, we have the key as well. So there's a chest back here. Catch me red fire combat medic, which has better balance between damage and healing. I mean, they do different things basically. The Redify is a buffer and a damage dealer. The combat medic is a healer and a damage dealer. So they do different things basically. The FI can heal a little bit. The Redify can heal a little bit, but it can't heal as well. But its buff is much, like, it actually provides a group buff that is super strong, like really strong. If you're just gonna make one, I would say the red FI has more uses, is a lot more useful, I would say, especially nowadays with countdown and such as well. So that one's a little bit more of an all-rounder, because it can heal a little bit. And then it has that really good group buff, and its damage is also still okay. All active. I feel I missed some context there. Okay, yeah, so Toasty has all of the buffs up. And yeah, here again to show, like, this always just shows 0-0, regardless of what floor we're on. Here we're on 43, last time we were somewhere else. But yeah, that one's just bugged. But yeah, let's head in and be brave, because yeah, especially this room, they're gonna, seeing as it's ambush as well, they're all gonna be spawning from back there. Meaning that I'll go do this, and then this, and just sit here and try to poke out some eyes. This is very much a tech tank room where a tech tank can like push ahead and just this is the get ahead of it. And indeed, the Chameleon is the third best SMG in the game. Indeed, well, fourth best even. But yeah, Chameleon's been pretty decent-ish gun. It's not good, but it's also not like the worst. As some people kind of a little heavy. Marker as well. Trying to find his head. That wasn't clear at all. There I was very attentively listening for the door opening sound, which I did here. So. Although there it actually didn't play the sound, so that was annoying. Saw a red bar there. There we go. Of course, I have loot down there, so I have to jump down still. And yeah, I do agree with Toasty there, who says when you have all of the Chameleon buffs active, it's pretty insane, and it quite is. The downside, of course, is that you usually don't have it up enough for it to be comparable to other weapons. And it's actually its biggest downside is actually its optimal range. Because from memory, it's actually I don't remember. I don't know what it is. But I remember it being SMG levels. Well, that's 20, just in general. But you can't have a mod or something on it to have changed it. And Striker itself will not alter it. I made the combat in my own farm graph findings. Yeah, and yeah, they indeed both are complementary to each other. Basically, I feel. Well, they kind of fit in like that same space of having healing and stuff. They're just a little bit different from each other. But yeah, I very much enjoyed both. Still have a soft spot for the combat medic, especially.
Shade tech detected.
I know who you are.
That's it. There. Did I miss the box? Oh no. Is it there? Ignition grenade went out to jammer this thing. Because if we don't have to deal with its skills, it's a lot easier. So I'll hang out back here a little bit. Well, basically, because yeah, they can spawn from that door as well. So I'll be on guard for that door. Yep. So I already had my pistol out to shoot the lock, but then those guys were there.
EMP jammer detected nearby.
Are there two of them? There are. It's barely outside of its range. Trying to see where there's some safety in here. Like this should be safe.
EMP jammer destroyed. Vital signs critical.
I might actually not survive that. Yeah.
Agent,
But the jammer should be shootable, so
agent
no,
killed.
maybe not once I die. Oh no, I should.
What are we waiting for?
Just watch out. It's not a very safe spot there.
You see that?
Let's see where else we could have set up there. Let's also maybe see if Toasty is gettable.
This one is good.
Because then maybe get him. Because I'm not very gettable where I don't that.
Grenade away. Don't just wait for them. Say your fucking prayers. Rip them apart.
As yeah, likely you guys will have to like kill the entire room before you can kind of get it. Because there's no good place to sit for that thing. Like the position I was in, if you go up back there, you can be safe, and then behind there as well. They can go behind there, yeah. It's like that to play, but also like at that point, everything is dead basically. Wait, is it bugged maybe? Because then maybe you guys have to res me, but you should be able to from that corner that it's in. If you go all the way to the back of it. To basically where I am, but then like in that corner of it. That's not gonna work. You have to be in cover because otherwise it will jam you. So basically take cover at the edge in that corner and then yeah, that's it. Or yeah, if somebody gets a hive eventually. But it needs to have line of sight, so you would have to and then once I get out of it, then likely those to get out of it as well. Get out of the circle as well. Because what happens when if we're all outside of the circle?
An agent needs assistance.
as it should start to like recoup. Nope. Yeah, make sure to grab all your loot from this room, and I'm gonna go do the same. And then we'll go back to the lobby. This one's bugged out. Oh no, actually it fixed itself, it seems. But yeah, don't just stand in the sun. There we go.
EMP jammer
There you go.
destroyed.
It hurt us. That's interesting. Actually, I hadn't seen that bug out in that way before. But yeah, usually also I don't die running into it, which was unfortunate. Because it likely did bug just because I went down the second it actually should have come out of being immune. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter what its class is really, like what bonuses it gets. I think the reason they put it as a AR is it would be a little bit OP together with Hunter's Fury. Like it already is kind of OP with Hunter's Fury, even as a SMG or as a AR, without like actually getting the SMG bonuses. But yeah, with those bonuses on top of it, it would actually be a little bit strong with that. I know, so read the next sentence there. But yeah, it would need to be weaker. If it could combine with Hunter's Fury, it would need to be weaker than it currently is. Well, Muddy, feel free to just set your target it to whatever you need. Like, I'm not too fussed about that one. It's mostly just as a visual upgrade kind of thing. So not in a hurry with it. So if you need something farmed for yourself, just feel free to have that as your target. Check the back spawn just in case that spawn there. Oh, great chance. Yeah. Yeah, funnily, I had the inverse because yeah, I was actually when I was farming like this set originally, I wanted to go for crit chance gloves, and then I had a few crit damage ones, and I was like, no, but I want the crit chance ones, and then now I have changed my mind the other way around. So yeah, we got the key there. Let's Go have this room. I'm gonna take a left here and go upstairs. Okay. So, a bunch of shit up here. I'm gonna blow up that thing because I want to stand there in a second. And yeah, the thing to be wary of is they spawn across from us there as well. Exotic over there. As I look over and see what caused Toasty to be toasty. As, he was very toasty for a second there. So I'll go loot all this and then get back up there. That's it. I'm gonna pull random exotic. So, let's see what it is. It is a ninja bike. And don't know if I'm just gonna check as well if anybody in my group needs one of those. I'm gonna guess not, but just to check. Hmm? So I'll push up to here. I'll deal with these waves.
High-risk target detected. Hmm. No, that's. I mean, if you're, yeah. For me, I've mine already optimized that, so it's only already that crit damage glove. That has some use. So we'll grab all those resources and stuff and head on up to 47, where we'll be assassinated. Oh, actually, yeah, Omni, if you want those. And that is very much an option. Yeah, that's why I checked. Like, sometimes exotics like those can be ones that like take a while to get, as they don't drop from
Rogue agent detected.
As of course, on floor 47, we get some assassins trying to assassinate us. Now I'm gonna guess there what Toasty meant with he doesn't as well with Ninja Bike Messengers is that he doesn't want any, so that's why he doesn't have any. I'll briefly check what my allies are. So Striker, Striker, and Striker. I'll go PFE because Tech Tank won't do it well enough. And she has the Heartbreaker Tech Tank, or a Heartbreaker PFE. And then, let's see what this is. So actually, I have the G36 as well to share about. Do that later. If everybody's ready. But yeah, let's trigger them and just let them come to us a little bit. So they put out some of the skills and stuff, because especially in this room, they get a sniper turret at the end of it. Can just end all of us. I'll push him a little bit.
Rogue airburst seeker mine detected. Hostile airburst seeker mine detected. Rogue shock trap detected. Hostile shock trap detected. Hostile defender drone detected. Rogue blinder firefly detected. Hostile blinder firefly detected. Rogue bombardier drone detected. Hostile bombardier drone detected. Rogue restore
There's
hive.
one that is pushing on the right side.
Hostile restore hive detected.
Pushed a bit too far.
Stinger hive detected. Hostile stinger hive detected.
So with only 3 left, let's go be aggressive. I'll try to push him out in this corridor. There we go.
You want something done right?
I'll go get the attention of this one.
Using an armor kit. Gotcha.
Rogue fixer drone detected. Hostile fixer drone detected.
Yep, keep punching me. That's that's your best course of action there.
Eliminated.
And I'll go back to yeah, I'll go back to that ongoing. I was considering maybe messing around with that Umbra and stuff, but I kind of want to have some more time on this build, as it is one of the new additions. For magic with skill haste, which you can record to yellow, which is a decently useful piece. But yeah, with electric nowadays, in the past, those used to be useful for to tide people over till they got a golden piece set up correctly.
Terminal in hostile control.
So here's why actually if we do it with suppressors, they don't actually hear us till we like aggro them more.
Terminal destroyed.
as Omni got a project done. As he received exotic cash and a named item. I'm gonna check as well how many more floors I need, which is 16. It's quite a bit. But I'm also not sure if I want to go all the way with that, because I feel myself getting pretty drowsy, as I did indeed sleep pretty short last night and then got up pretty early and did a lot of stuff during the entire day. So I might actually not go much longer. That's how he can bash his hammer against my shield as much as he wants. So one of the things with shields is they have resistances, it seems, and especially they have they're very weak resistances against explosives, but they have pretty high resistances against melee. So those sledgehammers can it will take quite a few hits before they actually start damaging my shield in any real way. That's right, that's it. Try to aim high, but PKBs don't really do accuracy. Yeah, that's fine. I need it to be crit damage. Like, no other piece will be worth it. So that's okay. Oh, yeah, that will likely indeed be happening. Yeah, gloves seem to be my Achilles. My Achilles heel seems to be gloves. I seem to have Achilles heels of gloves. And of course, that contractors also took quite a while. Although I did get it in the end, so there is that. That's it. Now let's want to check upstairs. That's it. Well, I mean, I did get the contractors. I just got them from you, not from the enemy. As yes, Toasty did indeed actually get it yesterday.
Nearby hostage situation detected.
especially specifically that skill damage contractors is likely something that, like, in the weeks before it, running like countdowns and stuff, I likely had gotten one, but just like hadn't realized I needed one. So, like, yeah, stuff like that as well. Also, how often I have deconstructed something and then farmed for it later. Yes, yeah. A good enough setup gets passed around there. Yeah, this is the final room of this section. I'll go put myself in the position I always go here, which is to kind of over here and kind of deal with this door a little bit. Especially to mark everything a little bit. As that was the named enemy's drone. I was wondering how a drone got to me that fast, but yeah, named ones move pretty fast. I'll go deal with this, these stragglers and stuff. Yeah, we blew up all the lights in here, so it's nice and dark. As yeah, we reach another boss floor at floor 50. And the key's back here. Basically at the end. As we once again have the floating the floating key lock there. Yeah, and Toasty just needs just 3 different setups, you know, just 3 unicorns. He wants to start a menagerie of unicorns, basically. Where most of us are content with getting 1 unicorn sometimes. He is aiming high. So I'm catching up on some of the messages in Discord, as I actually, like, yesterday completely forgot to actually just have Discord on at all. Also most of today as well. It's because of laziness, basically. Yeah, this boss fight room is always nice because it's just basically one door that most of the things come out of. The boss is the only thing that will come out of a different door, basically. I'm of course blinded. I'm gonna push through. Just mark everything here. And kill this one. Ooh. Ah, those snipers made it out. It's quite far. And yeah, watch you guys is back. Another challenge completes there. And yeah, we get the rewards from floor 50 completion once more. Ones that I've gotten way too often already. Oh, that one's worth sharing. Actually, let me vendor check what that I don't have the glove yet, just accidentally maybe. I should share those two items as well, as I see others doing the same. Yeah, that one's usable, close enough at least. Same for that one. Let's have a look over here. Double barrel, but yeah. Annoyingly, of course, the like that named one exists, which makes it everyone's ready. Let's move it on up. Ready. Open handling status and yeah. I mean, somebody take them at least if you need them for expertise or something. Sadly, not very usable in any real context. As yeah, likely I'll do 3 or maybe at most 6 more floors. That will be it for me for this evening, because
Accessing server.
feel myself getting drowsy, and yeah, tomorrow I'm mostly free, so
System disrupted.
So gonna work on the DPS video a little bit and stuff,
System.
and then also like stream for decent lengths in the evening. So I'll make up for it then, basically.
System reactivated.
What's that? Oh no, Muddy, I do. As Muddy asks if I have a Discord. I mean, I have Discords, personal ones, but none that are like outside facing. But also, I wouldn't want one specifically. It's too much of a hassle to take care of. Usually. I just hang out in other people's Discords. Quite often the official one, I'm on there quite often, and the bro Discord, so quite often. But also mostly, I mean, like DMs, just, you know, talking to people. This guy. Yes, we're getting our ways through the summit. Just checking. Okay, it's like I haven't seen a challenge pop for a while, but yeah, I have long challenges set, so they take a while. It's also likely Sunday. I want to do the Heartbreak Attack Tank showcase live, which should be fun. It's very much a build I know very well, so it's also an easy one. Basically, I don't need to like relearn it or anything. It's just I need to make a few of the calculation sheets for it, but also those can basically be copied over directly from the masterclass one, because the Heartbreaker, of course, stayed the way it was. Like Elmo didn't creep its way into it the way it has into most of the other tech tanks. But I might actually update the other tech tanks numbers to the Elmo versions and compare them that way. Although likely I won't even compare it to the other tech tanks, because yeah, that's already done in the masterclass. I'll just put it up against a red build and a striker and just talk about like the amount of damage that can do, and then just mostly show it off, because it's very much a build that like the gameplay is what can convince people. Like the numbers and stuff are just auxiliary. It's I do want them in there just so that like they're discussed and stuff, but it's very much not a build about the numbers flat, basically. I mean, none of the tech tanks are. Because then, yeah, as well, later on, I wanna... Like the showcase after that will be a showcase on weird tech tanks, which includes this one, this specific one. Is the ongoing one. And also, yeah, the Patriots one, the FI one, and maybe the Umbra as well, so that's getting made. For a second, switched off the cam there just to get something out of my nose. Otherwise, that would be a little bit unappetizing. Although, of course, I spoilered it by actually talking about it. I'll go over and hit this one. Most of our shots went into that wall or like the boxes in front of me, because the geometry wasn't really set well. there I tried to get some rounds into this weapon, but I failed miserably. Although that dog was tagged, so once it died, finally, it did.
Drone going out! Pinned down!
There we go. Okay, this glove is indeed. I haven't seen a glove actually in quite a while. Which, yeah. That's it. All 58 SAs. They're not the worst weapons, but sadly also not really good weapons. As mostly down to their lower magazine size, just hurting them quite a bit.
Hostiles inbound.
Kind of makes sense for ammo conservation, but yeah, if that's also your goal, then...
Flanker, put on a shield.
So sit in this corner. Listen for which door is opening next to me. And just deal with whatever comes out. Yeah, I'll do 3 more floors and then that'll be it for me. I feel myself getting drowsier and drowsier, and also nice and quiet, although that some people may enjoy that. So IKEA shutting up finally for once. But I think it might be better for me to head off to bed and be good and fresh tomorrow, and we'll go ahead tomorrow as well then. As well, next Thursday, then I'll be messing about with other games on the Thursdays. So I'll go have a peek as well. Let's see what that is. Sadly also. Good full stats, but sadly not usable, really. And I haven't completely decided which one, what game I'm gonna do for this first one. But I was thinking maybe either Division 1 or Breakpoint or War Thunder. 3 games that I'm decently comfortable with, although actually I would say the Division isn't actually Division 1. I don't actually would be very because yeah, I was very much one of those people that and nowadays that Russia got me.
Agent down.
I overextended there a little bit. I'll push up to here so that my allies can get me through there. Let's go get the button. No. There's no hole there.
Terminal accessed. Yeah, Division 1, I was much more a casual player, so like most of my builds are horrible, likely. I haven't actually gone and looked at some of them.
I used to play Lone Star a lot. Like, I didn't feel I ever really sucked. As yeah, I used to matchmake in there quite a bit as well. I didn't get the feeling that I was like horrible or anything, so didn't get yelled at ever.
An agent needs assistance.
We do breakpoint that once in yeah, maybe indeed with a group it would be interesting. Although it is very much a game that I've mostly played actually in group. Not much solo time in there. But yeah, mostly just have some variety, just talk about some other things, and then we'll relate it to Division and stuff, and like calculation-wise as well from other games. Well, of course, actually, Division 1 shares basically a calculation system. Breakpoint like doesn't really have a calculation system. It's mostly like just 2 shots will be a kill.
Shade tech detected.
That's it. Here, once again, we have this thing. Start going into here. I'll jam it again.
Detected. Hostile sniper turret.
A little bit overextended, but there's this cubby here that I can go hide in. I don't know why I'm sitting in cover there. I should just push out and be a tech tank. As I turned myself into a red build for a little bit in place now. So, very much this build is doesn't have to be that. Let's not be that. Let's be aggressive and a pain in the side of the enemies. Let's get a headshot damage one. Although at least a glove. It's been a while since I've seen a glove, so at least like halfway there. A skill damage one as well.
Active terminal detected. detected.
Let's show.
Three terminals. Heard the sounds of heavy. The heavy's over there. I can deal with that. Once I've touched the button, I can go sit over here.
Terminal controlled.
So they're spawning in behind us. Nice. Oh. Let's not forget some loot. Hazard protect. At least now the game is kind of trolling. It's giving me gloves, but none of the right ones.
That shield's not gonna help you.
This guy yells out to me that shield's not gonna help you. I think it will, actually. I think this setup kind of works. Hang it. Yeah, she'll be getting back up, or she won't be. Somebody had the same, I'm guessing, there with a headshot one. As you basically have to go to the game that you know. I'm looking for a status effect one. Wink, wink. And there I have a chest here.
An agent needs assistance.
I'll just go and flank them. Crit chance knees. Named item. Actually, I don't. As it has reached 56, and the hostile lieutenant, which is final room.
Next time, I'm skipping this guard duty shit.
So what I'll do is go up here and get the key as well. And just go and hang out here. Most of them spawn up here. Not out of bleed rounds, but I'll just do that to some enemies, just so everything's marked. I'll swap over. Next waves and stuff spawn up here as well. And yeah, in the end, we didn't get it. We still might actually from that thing. But yeah, that is very much going to be it for me. But yeah, if you guys want to feel free to move on. They'll make Toasty the leader.
Another agent has been promoted to group leader.
And I will thank all of you for the runs of today. It was a lot of fun. Or yeah, if you guys are heading off as well, then well, as we're going back to DC most likely then. But yeah, I will basically drop in group as soon as we land, and then briefly, well, I'll clean up this character first, and then do that. I might have gotten something worth sharing. And then yeah, I'll be back at it tomorrow with a little bit fresher, as these last 3 days were very heavy work days. Even though I did get to play a little bit in between as well.
Automated external defibrillators have been
Did get to
deployed.
do a few
Final
countdowns
signs.
earlier.
Safe area entered.
As we get a double loading screen, which is quite common. It's basically you first load into DC and then it goes like, oh, you were in a group, let me put you back into that actual group. But that's also a workaround fix that they implemented. Because yeah, a lot of people would crash because like basically they would load in, but the group wasn't ready basically to receive them. So that session wasn't ready. So that was their workaround at that time. As I'll pop all these.
Nice to see you, Agent.
And see what they were. Yeah, sadly, no keepers and nothing worth sharing. If you can check as well how many. So we're already up to 179 thingies,
Best gear in the city.
stars.
Got it right here.
And yeah, indeed, briefly check that maybe it's full on status.
Thanks for the business.
But yeah, I will thank all of you guys for the runs, and I'll
An agent is
drop
no
group
longer in
here
your
as well.
group.
As
Another agent is now group leader. You have left the group.
yeah, tomorrow as well. At the start of the stream, I'll do a little bit of work, get basically this one and the FI tech tank into the build collection, just to have those in there. And So that's for tomorrow, and then also likely, yeah, I'll continue the farm tomorrow myself for these gloves, and hopefully get that done because it shouldn't be too hard. Because yeah, tomorrow evening as well, if there's some others that still haven't done the league as well, I'll be doing the league on my alt account. Because of course, I do want to do the full run with that character as well. As that's also in the weekend, so they'll benefit from all of the challenges that they'll complete while doing that. And as well, I'll look into the second account and kind of have a look at what builds I kind of want to move around with them. I've already decided that they have a turret drone, just classic turret drone, basically with skill haste, which I never use and isn't even recommended anymore. It existed basically as a test bed build, but that can go, and that can become that bro build, basically the 3-piece Empress, 2-piece Brazos, and I was about to say 2-piece Brazzers, but that's completely different thing. 2-piece Brazos and Memento, which I'll put on that one. And then yeah, on this account still, then I want to go out and get pieces for hazard protected FI. Still don't exactly know how I want to put that one together, but I'll figure it out. It shouldn't be too hard. And same for the Umbra Tech Tank. So those are all coming up. In count, I'm just going after the Hunter game, please. Yeah, that always sucks when you crash out during extraction or towards extraction. As also nowadays, there's also that bug where sometimes you get a loading screen and then you're in a different extraction zone, basically. That seems to happen because one of the group, either the group leader or some of them, or some member has left, basically. And like the game didn't know how to deal with it, because I've had that one a few times. But yeah, thank you all for joining me, as it was a productive evening once more, as we moved some builds around. We did some farming, even though not successfully in the end, but we got a bunch of stars out of it. We got a bunch of resources out of it, as my characters are once more actually pretty full up on resources, so actually completely full up on some stuff, so I need to go get spend that stuff. But yeah, and I'll be back once again tomorrow evening, same place, same channel. So yeah, hope to see some or maybe all of you again then. And yeah, as always, have a good night.